Okay, for this next step, we are going to combine the date and also what is known as the inside address. The inside address, as you can see, it says the name of the recipient who's getting your letter. Okay, so the date should be obvious. You should go ahead and insert the date for whenever you're writing or sending your letter. Since this is a business letter and somewhat formal, make sure you are doing this in the proper way that you would do a date. I'll just put it is perfectly acceptable to do just numbers with slashes, however you want to write the date, but it should be accurate and written nicely, and everything should be spelled correctly, because remember, this is a business letter. In a business letter, things should look right. Now, name of recipient. In your case, this is going to Barack Obama, because this is going to be your letter to the president. We're going to turn this into more of a business-like letter. So in order to do that, you're going to highlight this section. And again, students sometimes see these brackets and they're like, why do I leave those brackets? No, you don't leave the brackets. Those brackets are just there to show you, where you're inserting something. So you're going to delete them section by section. Some of my younger students say, I don't know how to spell that person's name. As always in my class, it is perfectly acceptable for you to go to Google and look stuff up, and we're going to be doing that in this section. So I'm going to type President Obama and there you go. You can click the autocomplete, and of course you can look and get the information that you need. So I know it's going to be Barack C.K. Obama. His title, he has a title. He is the president. So we can type president. The company isn't really a company because it's not a business, but it is the United States of America. He's president of what? That's where you would put in for company. United States of America. And now, the street address. Let's talk about this. You probably don't know that off the top of your head. So again, in my class, it is acceptable for you to use the internet. So please go ahead and look up the mailing address for the President of the United States. How would you do that? You go into Google and you do a search. I usually would say do a search for something like mailing address, maybe White House. It's a pretty good search to do. And then boom, you get the address right there. Now I don't want to show you the address because I actually want you to do that on your own. You probably would want to pause the video now as you're doing this. You should be pausing this video anyway, step by step, and doing each one of these steps. But on your own, go ahead and look up the address, the mailing address, and find it on your computer, and then go ahead and put that address in as the president's address. Now, I want to talk to you about copy and paste. Generally, we don't copy and paste someone else's work. Like you wouldn't copy and paste paragraphs and pretend like it's your writing. That would be plagiarism, and we don't allow plagiarism, and we don't want you to commit plagiarism. But for something like an address, you could copy and paste it, but there's an issue. The issue, now I'm going to do the copy and paste. I'm going to do it with the Washington, D.C., so I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to right-click and choose copy. Remember, you highlight everything, choose copy. Then I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to paste it. By the way, remember, right-click is that other mouse button. Usually you left click, but sometimes you right click. So that's how you get that special menu. Now here, I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to right click and paste. So you copy from and paste to. But when I paste it in, it's the wrong formatting and everything's messed up. So I can fix that. I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to hover directly over it again. And this time I'm going to right click. And there's a few options. And one of the options says to clear the formatting. That's going to take away the junk that's there. And by the way, let's talk about fonts for a second. When we did the pre-test for the letter of the president, a bunch of people were doing these weird fonts to make it look interesting. No, a business letter should not have strange fonts. You don't want it to look interesting. You want to make your point. Under no circumstances should a business letter have any kind of a fancy font that's in any way difficult to read. Some people liked it because they made it look more like handwriting or something. No, you're not doing that in a business letter. If you do that in this business letter, I will deduct points for formatting. It should be formatted neat and business-like. That's what we're doing in a business letter. Okay, so by the end of this video, you should have completed this section, which is known as the inside address, which is the information for the person that you're sending this letter to. That's the end of this video.